Don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you are going to miss it. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued, it must ensue, and it only does so as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself or as the byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself. Viktor Frankl wrote these words in the preface to the American edition of Man's Search for Meaning, and they remain among the most quoted sentences he ever produced, and among the most misunderstood. Misunderstood because they are so easily reduced to a motivational cliché. Be authentic, follow your passion, don't think about the money and the money will come. Frankl was not saying this. He was making a precise clinical and philosophical point about the structure of human motivation and the specific way in which certain goods destroy themselves when they are made into direct targets. Success, in his framework, is a hyper-intention trap. It belongs to the class of goods, like happiness, like sleep, like the sense of self-worth, that cannot be produced by willing them directly. They are consequences, byproducts, what we might call the shadow of genuine engagement with something real. When they are elevated from byproduct to target, the very effort to achieve them blocks the processes that would naturally generate them. Consider what actually produces success in any genuine sense, not the appearance of success, not the validation metrics that social media offers, but the real thing, the mastery of a craft, the building of something lasting, the development of genuine expertise, the creation of genuine value for real people. None of these emerge from the direct pursuit of success. They emerge from the absorption in the work itself, the focus on the problem to be solved, the skill to be developed, the person to be served, the vision to be realized. The person who is absorbed in the work is not thinking about their success metrics. They are thinking about the work. And the success, when it comes, is the residue of that absorption. Frankl had observed this pattern in the camps, in the starkest possible form. The men who were determined above all to survive, who made survival their primary focus, their daily preoccupation, their reason for every decision, were often among those who died. Not because survival was the wrong goal, but because survival pursued as an end in itself, without any connection to a reason for surviving, consumed itself. The men who survived, disproportionately, were those who had something specific to survive for, not survival, but the work, the person, the testimony, the unfinished task. They were, in a sense, not primarily trying to survive. They were trying to fulfill something. And survival was the necessary condition for fulfilling it. Transposed to the ordinary world of achievement and ambition, the implication is significant. The entrepreneur who is primarily focused on building the company they believe should exist in the world, who is animated by the conviction that this product, this service, this approach is genuinely needed, is more likely to achieve success than the entrepreneur who is primarily focused on the success metrics themselves. Not because idealism is magically rewarded, but because genuine engagement with the problem produces better work, better decisions, and more authentic relationships than the vigilant monitoring of outcomes. The same applies to the creative person, the professional, the parent, the anyone whose work involves genuine contribution to something beyond themselves. The musician who plays for the love of the music will, over time, typically develop greater mastery than the musician who plays for the validation. The teacher who teaches for the genuine development of the student will, over time, typically produce better outcomes than the teacher who teaches for the performance review. Frankl's insight here is connected to his broader philosophical framework. Meaning is always found by looking outward, not inward. The self that is preoccupied with its own success is looking inward, monitoring, evaluating, comparing, strategizing. The self that has found something genuinely worth doing, something that calls for its specific presence and engagement, is looking outward, absorbed in the task, the person, the problem. And it is in that outward orientation, that self-forgetful engagement with what is real and important, that the conditions for genuine success, the kind worth having, are quietly, invisibly assembled. The paradox Frankl identified, that the harder you chase success the more surely it eludes you, is not a counsel of passivity. It is a counsel of reorientation. The work itself, the cause itself, the relationship itself, these are worth your full effort and your most serious engagement. What is not worth your effort is the monitoring of how the engagement is being received, the calibration of your performance against someone else's standards, the vigilant attention to your own progress up a hierarchy you did not design. The person who loves the work gives it everything. The person who loves the recognition gives it what it needs to generate recognition, which is rarely everything and almost never the best they have. Frankl's own life, productive and generous and sustained across a long career by genuine commitment to what he believed the world needed from him, was the most eloquent demonstration of the principle he articulated. Subscribe to the Psychology of Viktor Frankl to explore more of his timeless ideas.